Hello. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, or Ace Attorney, I'm pretty sure it's Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, right? It's both. It's both. They both are TM'd, they're everything. Okay. And without further ado, I'm gonna jump right into it. I have to do voices. Okay, I got this. Yes. Trial start. October 18th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 4. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. I got it. Are you fucking up? The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will... Sorry. The prosecution will show the... Fuck. How do I do Edgeworth? This should be one of the easier ones. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well, I guess there's no reason to hold this trial then. That's just... haha, because that's how he acts. Very well. I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well. I call... Very well. I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court.
Hey, pal. Sorry. Hey, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studio. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there is a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here, and here it is.
Well, okay, yeah, I just completely changed. Okay. Inconsistent.
Hey, pal. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, and the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. He dead as fuck. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again?
Should I listen to that whole thing again? Well, that's just a wrap up of the thing. He's not actually he's not actually like a witness or anything, who needs to be pressed on anything. Time of death is 2:30, and they went to the thing. I think it's just for my benefit to listen to it again if I need to. So I'm gonna skip it. I think I can probably remember that. Can you, Phoenix? You're kind of dumb. So the murder weapon was a spear? How medieval. Tumor spear added to the court record. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Will the witness declare her name? Oh no.
My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered.
Your name, please.
Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma.
Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting... Oh, no, I was reading that right. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witness to say their names.
Wendy Oldbag, dearie. So just call me Grandma. So even when I was young and still living with the older children, and believe it, but there was this boy and he called me Oldbag. Well, I just...
Objection. I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand.
I was just getting to the good part, dearie.
Perhaps we can get to the testimony? Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct?
Yes, yeah, I was.
And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you.
You know your stuff, dearie.
You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. This is a count.
On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me, because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m.
What was that voice? What the fuck did I just break into? Okay.
It was Powers. The man right there, and he was heading towards the station, heading toward the studio.
You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. The day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Yeah, okay. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. Okay. I had some errands to run that morning.
What errands?
It's fine. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. Cool. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio.
Are you sure about that? Hold it! So you saw Mr. Powers?
That's what I said. Got wax in your ears, Sonny? Nick, this is your chance.
Yeah, time to pull out the secret weapon.
I'll say it again. It was him. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio.
Was it now?
Objection!
Let me get this straight, old bag, or Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo Tokyo. Miss Old Bag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course, didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyway, anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't! Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai.
I know that. I wasn't born yesterday.
No one in this court is accusing you of that, witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you?
Nosy old man. Of course I have proof.
What? Huh? I don't know why Edgeworth suddenly got higher. Huh? That's not even right either. You know what? Fuck, I don't know. Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time.
How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look.
Wow. Old windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then.
The man in the photo. I never said anything. I don't mean, mind you.
What?
That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg, see? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? No.
So he had sprained his ankle. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Oh. That was a way of phrasing it. I can't help it.
I never said anything. I don't mean, mind you. That morning during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess.
What prop did he break? He broke a prop?
Sure did. His own samurai spear.
His samurai spear? The murder weapon?
Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it.
What? This strikes me as a significant detail. I'd better write this down in the court record. A break in the shaft has been mended with duct tape.
Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad.
Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained?
Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch.
Thus the nap.
Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot. Okay. He's dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. Just hold it every time. Are you absolutely sure? Let's take a look at that picture again. So he was walking strangely because he was injured. It does look like he was dragging his foot. See? And you didn't trust me, you whippersnapper. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? No! No, I'm not. Well, Nick, find any glaring contradictions?
Well, she seems pretty sure that was Powers in that photo. I guess I'll just press her and see if I can shake her conviction. Okay, I will press her more then. I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke the props, apparently. Sprained his ankle pretty bad. Okay, you can see him dragging his leg. Clear as day. Okay, then I will press you on this. Still, you can't look at this and say it's Mr. Powers. Yes, but only Mr. Powers would have been dragging his leg. He has a point. It does seem quite likely that it was Powers. There's gotta be more to this. I better keep pressing her. Wait, that's... like on the same fucking bit? Because... I already pressed on these. Okay, I haven't pressed on this one, but that's really random to just go back and press on that now. Trip and fall.
Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course.
You helped make it better?
I kissed it where it hurt.
Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then?
Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle.
You may continue your testimony. Okay. I already pressed on... Oh. There we go. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there's one thing that's... Well, there's one thing that bothers me.
Which is...
It's hard to switch between the judge and Edgeworth. That's going to be a problem. Where is the Steel Samurai costume now? Finally, you said something right for once, Judge McDoofus. Oh, actually, no. I think they just call him Judge, don't they? Your Honor. Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes? And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? I'll object. Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Finally. Fucking, they're making sense for once. Jesus. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please?
No need to ask twice. The time on poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them.
So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be this steel samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Tom Parman's death. The only person I saw go to the studio. The only person you saw go to the studio.
Are you absolutely sure?
Oh, quite sunny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all.
Nobody suspicious looking. Right. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct?
Yes, sirree, Sonny.
So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture.
And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground.
Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data.
Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening.
That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2.
Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October the 15th. Really, Sonny?
Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2.
Photo number 2?
The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Also, why didn't the security camera take more pictures after that time when people started going back there to find the body? Why was that the only picture still on the computer? But you know what? We're not going to worry about that. We're going to worry about it being photo number 2 and who passed beforehand. Order! Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not one, but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there is only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself.
You watch your mouth, whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers.
But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by.
Well, yes. That's what it would seem to mean.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I don't understand these new-fangled computer things. Edgy boy, help!
Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either.
Humph. Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too.
Oh, that's unnecessary.
Whippersnapper?
Something the matter, Miss Oldbag?
Ah, that's right. I just remembered something.
Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai. This is the most coherent the judge has ever been. I think it can only go downhill from here. Because I know he says some dumbass shit, and he has before this. Water. Stay hydrated.
Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way.
I see. Your testimony, please. He's just done today.
Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out one photo that day.
Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this.
Well, of course, Sonny, I've only just remembered it.
Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination.
Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this.
Can you just tell me what the picture was, though? Are there any photos that aren't suspicious? But why? But what? But why? But why? How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking?
Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces for the most part.
For the most part? This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag.
Well, I didn't touch that suspicious-looking Will Powers photo, did I?
I think she's missing the point.
Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out one photo that day. And what photo was that?
Well, who in the heck? Who the fuck? Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased?
Humph. A fanboy.
Fanboy?
Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging out. One was there that day.
Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words.
Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside and, well, that's where they come in.
They come in through the drain?
I told you they were freaks. Oh, and they're kids. Children. Whippersnappers.
Kids? So on the photo that you erased?
It was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What?
Order! Order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studio that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade.
Oh yes, well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him.
A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Impossible, I'd think. It's quite heavy.
Right. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data.
Nick? What's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect.
Yeah. And they're already trying to unsuspect him. I mean, you probably couldn't have. But still, he's a witness. Like, he could have seen something. You should still find him. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. Oh. He like never makes sense. What is this? October 18th, 11:08 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. Ha! He just goes on. Mr. Powers? Yes? I don't remember what his voice was. Fuck. Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? Wait, what was that voice? What the fuck was that? I honestly don't know. I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest.
So, who is the Steel Samurai in that security photo?
How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really.
What? You should take better care of that stuff.
Why would he expect somebody to come in and fucking yoink it? I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a steel samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only, what was that? You're the only likely suspect right now.
Nick? What are we going to do?
First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this.
Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day.
Right. But if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually.
Hey, Nick, it's time.
Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studio was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent.
Then what the fuck are you... That's why it's happened every goddamn time. Do you know how many murders I've catched? 2. But, like, it's still weird that it happened twice.
If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized.
Penalized?
Right. Great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So, who was this person, other than Mr. Powers, that could have committed murder? The assistant girl or the security lady are both options. If they want to trust the security lady, she has access to the cameras and could have gotten in there. But the assistant girl was already supposed to be in that studio, wasn't she? Not the grade school boy. Let's say the assistant girl, just because we haven't talked to her yet, so they can't possibly make any judgment as to whether she could have done it or not. They don't know. It was the assistant. The steel samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the steel samurai. So you're saying the steel samurai in the picture is really the assistant? That's correct, Your Honor. If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the steel samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot. Oh, uh-oh. Bad feeling time. Remember the testimony concerning Powers' injury?
Powers and poor Hammer were at the run-through. Oh, and me?
What about the assistant?
Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle.
The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look the steel samurai look with that costume. But she couldn't walk the steel samurai walk. She wouldn't have limped. Well, I'm sure it was kind of big on her. She was probably tripping over the fucking legs that just sort of be going.
That kind of takes the legs out from under the case. That case.
Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you, as I warned. What? there's her long legs. She could have been tripping because she couldn't lift that motherfucking thing. I didn't think you guys would take kindly to me accusing Old Bag since she's right fucking there. But okay. Nobody knows the triple laugh scene. Nobody knows. May we move on, Mr. Wright? This fight isn't over yet. If you would, Your Honor, one more chance, please. Very well, go ahead. So who was this person, other than Mr. Powers, that could have committed the murder? Guess the security lady, even though, like, just because she didn't know about the limp doesn't mean she couldn't have been tripping over that massive fucking costume. But pop off! Pop off! My foot is asleep. It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Who? The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. She has access to the cameras, yeah, I guess. Or she could just be working with the other person who did it. I don't know why why we only have two options here. Like, can we literally talk to anybody else in the studio? Like, can we have any more witnesses before you sentence this man to life in prison? Like, literally anybody else who was there that day at all? Can we find the little boy? Can we bring the assistant in here? Can we bring literally any other actor or producer or director who was there that day? Any fucking information at all? No? Okay. Fuck me then. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Old Bag. What? Whippersnapper? Order. Is this true, Old Bag? Old Bag? That's Miss Old Bag to you! Miss Old Bag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume. Then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, what? Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes 2, baby. The fuck, Phoenix? That's so random. What's happening? That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it, is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something. What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way. I don't know. If I give her... Can I buy for time now? We do have to buy for time by pressing on her. Pressing her. Press. I thought I was ready for this today. I don't think I was. I'm kind of tired. I was thinking about doing Minecraft, but then I was like, no, let me do some more Ace Attorney. Sure. I like pressing. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute! What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy! The one whose photo I erased!
He's only a grade schooler, though. As you said, 2nd or 3rd grade, was it?
That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops.
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright?
That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Oh, or is it be nice to the kids and mean to your elders, day, whippersnapper?
I have proof.
Proof?
Indeed, then. Let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder?
Sure, I mean, let's just... Pierced through the chest by a spear. Yeah, I don't think he'd have, Yeah, sure. Take that!
Your Honor, the murder weapon was the samurai spear. That very spear is shown here in this photo. How could the boy have taken the spear? It's impossible. I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The windbag, speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy. What was her name? Something, old bag, Your Honor. Oh my god, that's so disrespectful. Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Righty tighty. Whoa, wait a second! I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me. I'm talking. Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk.
But, Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about.
Not talk about? By whom? Hi. You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify.
My lips were sealed. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studio on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studio that day.
What was that voice?
But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free.
Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now?
Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told.
Oh. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Cool.
That's sus. Okay.
Who were these people?
Well, the director and the producer, for starters.
The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course.
Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it.
I did, but I couldn't in game, so you know. So, where were these people?
The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that.
Where?
Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? There was a Studio 2.
Phoenix. God, why are you so fucking dumb?
Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over.
Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination?
I think I've already asked all my questions, but... Told me to just pretend they hadn't been in the studio that day. Okay. And was there anybody else there? Sure.
Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder.
I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side.
So, you got your bonus, and you still talked. I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask.
I just want to know if there's anybody else there, but okay, take a break.
Your Honor, we have learned there were others at Global Studio on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare... Fuck me, wow. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people we have just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned.
October 18th, 1:04 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me.
Really, it's nothing. Oh, or should I?
What? We'll be going down to the studio to do some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination.
So, Nick, have we figured out just who it was in that steel samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag?
What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really.
Neither do I, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers.
Poor old Windbag. I feel kind of sorry for her.
Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios.
Right. We'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
To be continued.
Cool. Thank you to those who stopped by. Thank you to those who are watching later on YouTube. I hope you are enjoying this. Yes. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the video. And there will be more to come. Goodbye.